All right, so we're going into the third round, and third one is Anders. Thank you so much for taking the time, Anders. We all know how busy this week is for everyone. Welcome. This spotlight is about diving into, I'm fascinated by the mindset behind success. So as you know, that's what we're going to go into. And going straight into it, first of all, tell us a little bit about, and you and what you do, and then I'm going to go straight into my first question for you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you to the audience who are all here. It's the last day of Davos. Yeah. We all survived, and I guess we are right here before some cocktails as well. So very happy to be here. My name is Anders Rodenberg. I'm the CEO of Denominator. Denominator is the largest provider of human capital data, which essentially means around how companies treat their workforce, but also their leadership. And again, we're delivering that mainly to the large pension funds, the asset owners, the asset managers. So they're actually trying to use our data to get signals of what is the mental and mindset of the people leading the largest companies of the world. So it's a very interesting topic that we're here to discuss, both from a personal perspective, but also, again, in the professional life, because there are many different data signals there, and we're doing some fascinating work there to unlock that.
Love it. Okay, so everything I ask you, I want you to answer then from a personal standpoint, but also any sort of statistical data standpoint you have, because I think that would also be fascinating to hear. But when you look at your journey, what would you say was the hardest thing to overcome in order to be where you are today, which is obviously, what many would define as success?
I think it's part of it is giving up control because you can't scale without it. But it's been very hard for me, and I can share a little bit of our personal story. My dad was a helicopter pilot in Greenland, flew all over the world. This also means he got a lot of girls, and my mom was one of them. So I'm actually an accident on a Sheraton hotel in Copenhagen. And they told me very early, and they're good friends, and I have a good relationship to my dad. But in all seriousness, this, from a very early age, gave me a perspective of not being, because I'm only here because my mom took a choice to have me. So very early on in life, I felt the alternative of being alive, but that's darkness. And that's why it's so amazing to be alive and wanting to get so much out of life. But this also means that I've lived my entire life almost from a Pareto 80-20 principle. So because you can master something 80% with 20% of the efforts. So I was always in the top 2, top 3. I was never number 1, because why would I give up 80% of the time to get to that final one when I could change into some other area? Why this is relevant for your question is maybe because it means when you live your entire life like that, you become very adaptive to many different areas. And I actually know quite a lot of things, and I'm quite good at many things. And that is then hard to give up when you are building out teams or trusting other people to do a good job. When you can do so many things yourself, and then why not keep doing them? But at some point, your own time becomes a problem, and you really just have to let go and trust in the people you delegate to. And it is working, but it is the toughest part of my journey, at least.
And thank you for that. And what do you wish someone told you sooner?
I guess it is. Things are not easy, right? But again, it's back to that's what makes it fun. So if you want to go through life with a lot of comfort and just sit there, you can do that today and just look at TV, order some food in, and really not do much else. But it's the discomfort that actually gives the quality to life, I think. So once you start accepting that doing things and doing hard things is challenging, and it requires a lot of work, and it's not always fun, but it's that is not fun that it actually makes it fun in the end, and builds resiliency in your brain. But maybe on the professional side, this is also the stuff that investors are really understanding now. Because risk, and I came from Moody's before this and the financial industry, and risk has developed. It used to be when you made an investment decision, you would look at a financial balance sheet. Then you started also looking at tax risk, regulatory risk, cyber risk. We have to think about water, flooding, physical risks. So there's all these areas. But one of the things they really didn't do very well was looking at the leadership in the different layers, from the board, the executive team, senior management. But that's where a lot of the data now is unlocking that, so we can look into. We have 1.8 million board members and executive teams, and we know, gender, background, ages, education, experiences, skills, where they went to school, industry experience, but also things about disability, race, ethnicity, and the like. So you can really start both understanding power dynamics in boards and who actually sits with the power, but also track records of people's performance and who are the strong, resilient ones that actually come and contribute with things on the table. Again, it's not as good as if you can sit and interview the people, but the investors don't have that luxury when they have a portfolio of 2,000 companies scattered all over the world. So at least it's much better with something rather than nothing.
Very good. And what do you still struggle with today?
It comes back to, saying no. I heard that before as well. I struggle with the exact same thing, because the reason why we do all of this, at least that's one of my whys, is again, people are amazing, right? And it's why we call Denominator, because at the end, people are the common denominator. But when you're interested in people, and there's so many fantastic people, it's very hard to say no. And I'm looking, because you mentioned some of the same, right? But it does often come at a cost of your own time, and that is not unlimited. So far, I've been managed to then get more time by living very 80-20 and being very efficient in my daily tasks, that I could allow as much as possible not saying no, because you never know what is around the corner. Same with Davos. This is what's so amazing being here. It is sometimes that weird conversation that you had at some random place in some, that's where you got the idea to something new, or the connection into another thing. So I also think it's important not to say no too much, but it's a balance. But that's what I'm struggling the most with. Yeah.
And can I ask a more personal question that is not on the script? But I'm just getting curious as we're talking. Like, obviously we hear kind of things you're working on to become a better CEO and better leader and all of that. How do you balance that with being a good friend, being good to yourself, being a good, whatever else context you have, family member? What have you learned there on the journey that you feel like, you wish you knew sooner, maybe?
But it is a really big challenge. And again, I think about it almost in those words. So it's again, you want to be a good father, a good husband, you want to be a good friend, you want to be a good leader, CEO, and you also, and I think that's what many of us are forgetting, you need to be good to yourself. Yes. And prioritize what makes you happy, because if you're not healthy or happy, you can't be any of the other. So again, I would probably have wanted someone earlier in my career, having both put that in my brain that need to focus on myself, and not be afraid to say that, where your limits are. So I sit each year and sort of make a master plan of what I would like to do each year, and of course you shouldn't be too over ambitious. I like to go to weird mountain and weird countries and explore weird things, and it often takes 10 days where you're off the grid in some weird remote place in Africa or something, and that has a cost on the family. Yeah. But they know that I need to do that in order to come back home recharged and happy. So you need to be able to say those things. And I would have wanted to know that that's okay to say, I need this. And I'm not trying to just be selfish, but it's because it's making me a better friend, it's making me a better father and a better CEO.
Thank you so much for this exchange. Thank you.
Thank you.